Hi, I'm James from Bellrock. I work with leaders to help them understand the intersection of where risk meets people. Today, I'm here with my good mate and very accomplished not-for-profit director, Paul Quealey. We're going to talk a little bit about governance, we're going to talk a little bit about motivations, and we're going to talk a little bit about whatever comes up in between, I guess, mate. So Paul, welcome.
Thanks.
And I just wanted to start by asking you the sort of, let's call it the icebreaker question. So if you're at a barbecue, before all the titles, before all the fancy letters after your name, and et cetera, if someone said, what do you do, Paul? How would you answer that in simple terms, I guess, like the elevator pitch?
The elevator pitch. I'd probably say I give people peace of mind.
Oof, I like it.
You like it?
I
You
like
like
it.
it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I may have interviewed another accountant in this series as well, and I'm going to be comparing scores on that
Okay, there you
response.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
He may have the initials D and H.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think I may know him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. And so when you say peace of mind, like what is it? Because obviously, look, for those that don't know you, and of course I'll post the link to you on LinkedIn and your website in here, but you're a very accomplished audit accountant and a partner at Lambourne Partners.
Yep.
You guys are specialists to a degree, I would say, in the charity space. You've got a lot of council, like local government clients. But beyond that, that's, people, I think, still have a fixated view of it's accounting.
Yep.
But yeah, you're saying it's you're buying them, you're offering them peace of mind.
Yep.
So tell me more about what that means.
I suppose what we do in audit and assurance is that we go in and we make sure things are right.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So we go in and we'll validate that something's right, certain things have happened.
Yep.
And what's being presented is true and accurate in a
Yeah.
way. Or we'll identify opportunities where people can improve, get better, or
Yep.
manage risk.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's where it gives people peace of mind because
Yeah.
we're going in, we're letting them know that everything's great,
Yep.
or hey, listen, you're doing things well. You could potentially do a little bit better, or you could manage a risk
Yes.
more.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by that.
Oh, no, I like it. I like it because I think I've been talking about this on and off with a few of the people that I've been interviewing for this series about, certainly, I don't know if you'd agree or not, for those of us that work in that charities and for-purpose space, I see a lot of widespread lack of confidence in CEOs and even directors and chairs of boards because they feel as though every decision they make is going to be blowtorched. They're going to have their feet blowtorched on it by a million different people, and it can create a lack of confidence in either even making a decision or they make an incredibly conservative decision which may not actually be the best decision for the organisation, particularly in the environment we're in now with charities and not-for-profits being a pretty tough operating environment.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of articles, a lot of news articles, and a lot of headlines with regards to corporate collapses or businesses doing things wrong, right? And yeah, you're right. I think people do get backed in. Don't want to be on the front page or whatever. And I suppose that's why you make sure you have the right people around you at the end of the day. So you don't need to know everything, but just make sure you have a good group of people around you that know things in the areas in the space that you may not have full exposure in, and they can bring that expertise to the table.
Yeah, and I think that's where you guys and people in your profession are incredibly valuable for that charity space for both executives and board directors, because it's like it can give them confidence to go, you know what, I feel like we've got our house in order to a reasonable degree.
Yep.
We can look at these elements, we can make these decisions. That's a much better place to be in than kind of feeling like you're just jumping and hoping. The old, hope floats, but something else does as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And as you said, I sit on board positions,
Yep.
and I also do audits and report to boards as well. And
Yep.
I suppose in taking on that board position, I'm fortunate that I then think about, well, what would I want my auditor to tell me? I've sort of got an idea of what they're going to say, but what would I want them to tell me? And we then bring that spectrum over with what we do at Lambourne Partners and report a lot of things that while the board and the directors may not know to ask that question, I think it's worthwhile for them to know. So here's the information to educate them.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's great. That's excellent. And I mean, just as a comparison, because obviously you do a lot of work and also sit on some boards in the club space as well, is there any sort of systemic differences that you see between, let's call it the risk issues or the risk challenges for the charity space versus the club space, even though I guess they're all considered not-for-profits, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Differences, I think I wouldn't say there's too many differences. I think the common difference until you get to a certain size is like just the skills and experience. I think some people, directors get on there because they want to help, and that's great, and you need those people, you do. But you always need the right composition of a board, that you bring in someone with the skills from a legal, from a HR, employment, and from a finance point of view as well. So it's great to have people there that want to, do the great thing, and they're volunteers, and they're there for the right purpose. But in terms of helping promote the to the entity. But if you haven't got your legal house in order, and you haven't got your HR house in order, and you haven't got your governance and your legislative compliance, the cards can fall down very quick. And I think that's where a lot of it, a lot of the issues can sometimes come from. They haven't got those people on there because often they're volunteers. I mean, and time's tough. I've got a young family as well, so it's juggling the time between, running my own business, volunteering on these, boards, and then also a young family as well. It's, you don't want to spread yourself too thinly across all of them. So, but for any organisation, they need to make sure they have the right composition of the board that brings the skills and experience. That things are being managed. Things, people are aware of the financial position and the risks and the legal consequences with doing things. So,
Oh, I agree. I used to call it here to help syndrome. So you get a lot of directors in that space that. And that's certainly not a criticism of it. They often come from an advocacy or a volunteer background or a lived experience background. That's not to say they don't have an incredible set of skills to share, but I think what I've seen a lot of in that world is that it's like, oh, look, I don't worry about finance because that's Paul's job. He's really good at that, which I think is a really I would actually say it's a dangerous posture to take as a director, because it doesn't diminish your accountability as a fellow director at all, the fact that you're the finance expert.
Exactly right. Everyone needs to have their own opinion and ask the same, the questions they want answered. Because at the end of the day, ASIC or whoever, if they come in and have a look, or Paul was the finance guy, go speak with him. No, we share it equally.
That's right. So what I'm interested in understanding a bit more next, Paul, is what is it, because look, we've been talking about it's a tough sector, that charity space. Like, discretionary contributions, I guess, is a good place to start and say they're down a lot. Like, people are giving less in terms of money. We're in a very high cost environment. In amongst all of that, we've got all this legislative instability in most spaces related to most charities. They've got multiple regulators and the community, and, politicians circling constantly trying to use them as political footballs. What is it in amongst all that craziness that, I guess, motivates you to contribute both professionally and personally to that sector? What gets you up in the morning and keeps you going in the face of all those challenges?
For me, I'm someone that's driven by experience. I'm always wanting to learn and grow and get better. And I think taking on those board roles helps me do it. I've done this auditing side of things for, over 20 years now. So, and I've still learn every day, which is important. As you said, what gets you out of bed? It's learning something new. Getting new experiences, meeting new people, meeting new clients, all those types of things. But taking on these board roles, while adding to my plate, which is already largely full, it gives me a really good insight and experience into doing that. And, I've got, as I think you said before, we've got unique skills, like, and they're not common. So it's then the ability to take to those organisations that I'm aligned with, that I can then bring that skill and experience to them to try and help them in that little way that I can. I may not be there selling the raffle tickets or holding the hands of people or whatever it may be, but I know at the end of the day I'm behind the scenes and I'm making sure the finances are in order. We're going to be able to stick around for another 12, 18, 24 months. And we've done all the lodgements and we've done all our compliance and governance stuff that we should be doing. So, because that's all just as important to make sure that frontline stuff is happening. So, that's, as I said, it's the experience and exposures to it, the different perspectives, and as I said, I've got a unique set of skills. So I want to share and help with those organisations I'm linked with. Okay,
so we're going to call you the Liam Neeson of the auditing world now. Yeah,
I'll take it.
Oh, nice. Went straight in. That was a good zing. And so I guess just finishing off, Paul, the one, because I guess this series is all about trying to get behind the people, or get inside the minds and the motivators of people that contribute to the charities and for-purpose sector. So I guess the last question is, if you're writing a note to yourself, to your younger self, what would be 3 things you'd put in that note that you wish you'd known, that you know now, that you wish you'd known when you were, say, 18 or 20? And I mean, that for all of us, probably the list could go on as long as a piece of string. But yeah, give us the 3 that you think would really be the lessons that you'd give to your younger self.
Yeah. I think it'd be, keep on challenging yourself to try new things. So I was pretty fortunate when I was at another firm in town, and one of the other professionals got me involved in a committee, local committee. It's just small, to do with accounting, chartered accountants. So he dragged me along to that.
What a gathering of comedians that must have been.
It's thrilling. But yeah, it then got me involved in terms of coordinating events, meeting a lot of other accountants, meeting a lot of business people, and the like. So that was a huge thing in my career, and it's probably something that's lost a little bit now. Not getting involved in those sorts of things and going along to events. So, Newcastle's a small place. Everyone knows everyone. You're a degree or 2 from everybody. And just going out there and meeting people. It's all about the connection. And so always pushing myself to be involved in those types of things. Being a sponge, I'd probably say over my career I haven't been great in taking some feedback on board. But I've learnt now that, I still get feedback now, whether it's from clients or whoever. And it's an opportunity to grow and improve, and that's what we do each year in our team. We have a look at what we did well the last 12 months, how can we better, turn it all on its head and improve moving forward. So be that sponge.
Nice.
And then, just enjoy the ride.
Oh, nice.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah. I think that was the name of a Quicksilver surf movie that I used to have on VHS in the 90s. Enjoy the ride. Had like a young Mick Fanning on it or something.
So, sometimes we could take ourselves a little too seriously and get so consumed in what we're doing. That's probably the big thing. Take a step back, have a bit of fun when you need to have a bit of fun. Switch on when you need to have a switch on. But, life doesn't need to be too serious sometimes. It's about having a bit of fun along the way as well.
Oh, I agree. I think, I'm probably an awful person anyway, but anyone that I come across that takes themselves too seriously is just absolutely primed for me taking them down verbally. So,